Hello and welcome to this week's assembly. Now, as you can see, we're in a slightly different setting. For one thing, you've got one great big picture instead of the little tiny Zoom pictures. And that's because of the regulations changing. We can now come into church and socially distance, but be able to record you an assembly. So hopefully it'll be much more like the assemblies that you used to when we came into school. So I'm going to hand over to Wendy now, who's going to open for us.
The Bible is full of stories of Jesus having meals with lots of different people. Today's story tells us about a special meal that Jesus had with his friends and the important things he had to tell them. He also showed them that eating bread and drinking wine would be a special way to remember him after he had gone away. Let's open the book and read about an important meal.
As the feast of Passover came near, the disciples asked Jesus,
"Where do you want us to prepare the Passover?"
Go into the city, and a man will meet you carrying a pitcher of water. Follow him. Wherever he goes in, say to the master of the house, "The teacher says, 'Where is the guest room where I may eat the Passover meal with my disciples?'"
The disciples did as he said and prepared the food. In the evening, all 12 of them sat down to eat with Jesus. Then he said,
It is very important to me that I spend this time with you before I suffer.
Then he suddenly said to them,
One of you is going to betray me.
Jesus knew that one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, had received 30 pieces of silver from Jesus' enemies after promising to tell where they could find Jesus and arrest him. The other disciples were all very upset.
"Lord, is it me? Is it me?"
It is one of you here eating with me.
As they were eating, Jesus gave thanks, took some bread, broke it, and gave it to his disciples and said,
Take and eat. This is my body.
Then he took a cup of wine and gave it to them.
Drink from it, all of you. This is my blood of the new covenant, which is given for your forgiveness.
Then they sang a hymn.
Come, my Lord, 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 oh Lord, come, my Lord. When I, your shepherd, am killed, you will all be scattered and will stumble. But then, after I am raised, I will meet you in Galilee.
Even if anyone stumbles, I won't.
Well, before daylight tomorrow morning, when the cockerel crows, Peter, you will have said you don't know me 3 times.
Even if I die, I will never deny you.
But as we will find out next week, this might not be the case. After the meal, Jesus and the disciples went to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray.
Jesus loved his friends very much, so he tried to warn them that something very sad was going to happen to him, but they didn't understand. Even though Jesus was sad, he wanted to be with his friends and have a meal with them. Close your eyes and think about a time when you had a special meal with friends or family. Now I'm going to say a prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer, say Amen at the end. Dear God, in today's story, Jesus said a thank you prayer before he ate his food. Help us to remember you and thank you before we eat our food. Amen.
Amen. We hope you've enjoyed our new and improved assembly this week. Have a great week of meals, and we'll see you next time. Bye!